Hold on, let's get to the best of it. Hello! Welcome to the digital review for Batman. What's it called again?
The Enemy Within.
The Evil Within. The Enemy Within. Batman. This is series 2 from this Telltale story. I've got me, Adkins, doing a review. I've got Apps here, the beloved Apps. How are we, dear?
Very good, thank you, Steve.
Good. So we're reviewing the second series of Batman.
Yes.
Now, give me them cards on the table. What's your history with Batman himself? And what about these Telltale boys?
Telltale, I play everything, basically. At some point, I will play the season that's come out. So
Yep.
I've played all of them. I think the only one I haven't played at present that's been released since The Walking Dead first season is the second season of the Minecraft story mode, which I've got. Just need to sit down and play through it. But I wanted to get Batman done. Speaking of Batman himself, yeah, he's all right, isn't he? He's a superhero without any superpowers.
Yeah.
Which is always appreciated. He's just a rich toff running
Playboy.
around Gotham. Arkham series I liked. I played through all three of those. Didn't play through Origins, binned it. Played through the original season of this, obviously. Had some torrid performance issues with it, crashing, which really...
That continues.
That fucking really got on my left bollock, that one. But in general, kind of liked the story-based take on Batman, so excited to see what Batman, the Enemy Within, could offer.
Right, excellent. This is one I've been looking to pick up. I'm obviously a big Batman fan as well. Played the first one myself, so needed to play it. Now, would I be correct in thinking the formula hasn't changed?
No, it hasn't. It is the Telltale bog standard engine.
You're getting it, yeah.
When we go through some of the categories that we kind of work through, there is just a 3-word answer you might get, which is standard Telltale formula.
Yeah.
We know what we're getting at this stage. And that formula has not changed, and it all hinges on getting the performance up to scratch so it's playable, and the narrative, I guess. That's what the games live and die by, and what they've become, for better or for worse.
Nice. How much did you pay for this, Batman? Now, that's one thing I do like about Telltale games. You're not normally playing AAA prices, are you?
No, you're not. And this one I picked up for just shy of 15 UK pounds. So a little store sale let me in on the PlayStation. So PlayStation 4 Pro jobby.
Went for that.
Went for that. I thought, yes, let's start committing to these.
Yeah.
I played this as the episodes come out. Other than I think maybe the first one had been out a little while before. Right. Or maybe even the second one, but once I got up to scratch, I was just playing them. Sometimes I wait to the end and play through them like week by week.
I was going to say, how do you prefer that? Do you prefer to have them drip fed month by month or whenever they're released, or would you rate to rather have them all out at one and then smash through the lot?
It depends. It depends on the IP, I think, or the franchise. Yeah. Like The Walking Dead, when the final season drops this year, I'm not waiting for that. That's day one. No. Get me stuck in. I want to get at that. Something like Minecraft story mode. Like I said, I've got the whole season sitting there. So depends on scheduling. I only really want to play one of the Telltale games at once. So that will sometimes delay a second one. But yeah, I think it depends on how excited I am for the IP. But I've got no qualms about waiting the sort of 6 weeks between the episodes. It gives me a break to go off and do something else.
Yeah, that's very good. Now we're going to start with the presentation and the performance.
Yep.
Now, performance being the biggest thing, this was a big no-no and a big downside of the previous one, as you mentioned.
Yes.
What we dealing with here, yeah? Yes. Enemy Within, what we dealing?
Bog standard Telltale engine, so that's installed.
Yep.
Nothing to write home about in terms of improvement there. Performance, though, was better than the previous Batman game, which, as I said, I had some torrid issues with. So good to see them back on whatever track you want to call that in terms of how the game works and be able to just play the damn thing. But don't expect the sort of new engine from Tell. It ain't. All the animations feel the same. The facial expressions use the same thing. It is that same engine. So just this time it's a lot more. I say a little bit. It's a lot more reliable than the first season for sure.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, because you're getting a sort of box standard presentation, as you say. I did find though with it might just be because I'm a big Batman fan, but sort of seeing Gotham and stuff, it did look quite good, like graphically, the sort of style choice they've gone for.
Well, I think it fits with Batman more than some of the others.
Definitely.
Because of the comic book history of it.
Yeah.
Like it's, you look at The Walking Dead as well, that was, inspired by the comics probably more than the TV show. They don't go for a photorealistic look, they go for a comic book look and a narrative choice to bring those characters alive. So Batman works with that because generally people are very familiar with the comic books, and it's a dark, dingy shithole, and they seem to nail that, and they got that right in the first game, and they've got it right again.
Nice. So with the formula, a lot of this is standard formula. So is the gameplay, is it what we're dealing with just a single player campaign? Is there any side stuff we can do? Was it all that point and click Telltale formula we're dealing with?
No, standards point and click adventure Telltale formula. So no side quests and whatnot.
No.
I mean it is. I think you walk around an area, you explore it, you investigate items, you talk to people, you make dialogue choices, you make decisions, and they structure how the game progresses after that, either making you feel like a complete cunt or
a lot of Q2Es, I remember rightly.
I think
standard, isn't it?
The more action heavy Batman, that's required because he's a little bit more, he's a not born and bred fighter, but he's a very skilled combative, so you have to you can't do real time combat with this sort of engine, I don't think. So a lot of quick time events, a little bit of aiming the old back claw and getting people you kind of get a choice between doing two different things. I think that was present in the first one. So if you're jumping at a random thug, it might give you an option to attach him to the roof or just sweep the leg, and you can make little small choices like that.
Yeah,
QTE's definitely heavy usage here.
I remember that. They had the was it detective mode? You had like sort of scenes where you had to sort of match things up and stuff. Is that back in this season or?
It is, but nowhere near to the effect it was in the first one, which I was surprised to see that omission. I think one of the reasons for that is, I think we mentioned this on the review that you did for it, but you spend a lot of time as Bruce Wayne in The Enemy Within, probably more than you did in the first one. So he didn't always have access to those tools.
Right.
But yeah, they felt like they toned that back a little bit, and they toned back also the setting up of a tackling an area with multiple enemies. That seemed like it was toned back as well. So a bit of a strange choice there. I don't know if it's just because they felt that it breaks up the flow a little bit, because they were they were good, interesting moments, but they kind of slowed the pace up a little bit maybe. But yeah, didn't lean on it as much as I was expecting, to be honest.
Oh, interesting. I quite like that, as you just mentioned there. The first game, you sort of was dealing with that the two lives of Bruce Wayne, the Batman and the Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So you say it sort of leans more towards the Bruce Wayne in this game. As the story as a whole, does it continue? I thought that was definitely one of the strongest points of the game in last season. Does this continue, or what are you getting here?
Yeah, so it continues with a good story, and also your choices from the last game carry over. So there's references to what you've done previously. Very much feel like, again, and this is the same thoughts I had for the first one, that this is Telltale's version of Batman, and Bruce Wayne, which I like. They've definitely put their own spin on it. It allows them to kind of take the franchise and the characters in directions that perhaps people don't expect, and I feel like never before was the line between Bruce Wayne and Batman more blurred here. You spend a lot more time as Bruce, and I think that has kept things a little bit more interesting. Those looking for a heavy Batman experience will not find it here. It is, much more of an even split, definitely favouring Bruce and some of the actions that he does. And they made a very small but a significant, I feel, change to the way that your decisions impact the world and the characters around you. Previously at the end of each episode you get a rundown of which percentage of which percentage of decisions other people make.
Yeah.
They still have that in this case, but what they've done, which is very clever, is sort of the main characters that you interact with throughout the episode.
Yeah.
It brings them up at the end and then gives you like a status of the relationship you've got with them.
Right.
So, for example, if you've pissed off someone, it might say you did this, this, and this, which resulted in them now being angry with you.
Right. Okay.
And that sort of obviously changes from episode to episode. So again, depending on the decisions you make, your relationship and your status with people changes depending on your actions and what you say and do, which gives you far more of a feeling that you're making an impact to the world. Because I felt like the decision thing was great. When I first played The Walking Dead, I was like, wow, this is amazing, seeing like 40% did this, 60 did that. Right. And this is the next stage of that. This is telling you what your actions have done to the in-game characters and how you're making them feel, which makes me, it might make you feel, right, actually I need to adjust my behaviour in the second one, or maybe you think, no, fuck them, I'm going to really get out their goat next time.
Oh, excellent. That's an interesting thing, yeah. They've never done that before, have they?
No, I don't. Not to my knowledge. I mean,
no.
I've played so many of them, I think sometimes I forget. But the first thing when I finished, like the first episode, I was like, oh.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Exciting. Innovative. I can't even say the freaking word.
A little bit of innovation.
Little tiny bit, little bit. You saying about characters there. Obviously, you're getting a lot of different characters. It's quite strange because you're seeing these characters, you know who they are already, and you're seeing these sort of different variations of them. So you've got them in the games, in other games, the Arkham games. You've got them in the films, the TV series. How did the Telltale games? You're seeing characters that weren't in the first season here, aren't you? Am I right thinking that?
Yeah. There's characters that were not in the first season, and obviously returning characters as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like, again, it goes back to that when I said this is Telltale's version of it. It shares the DNA of what this, what Batman is and what the people in and around Gotham are. But they feel like they've got just a little bit more flexibility just to do things and give you like little situations that you think, oh, why is that happening? But yeah, you're treated to a good cast of sort of standard Batman characters and villains and whatnot, and it's I think it's got a good cast in that sense. If you're looking for those type of people to interact with, you get that in this one.
Yeah,
and because, like I said, you're spending time as Bruce Wayne, you might get a little bit more closer to them than you previously would expect.
That's great. Is the voice cast up to scratch? It's a very story and it's a very sort of narrative-driven game, isn't it? So, are you getting the heavy hitters, the Troy Bakers?
Yeah. I mean, he's playing Batman, so
that's right.
Definitely a good cast for the voice of Batman Enemy Within. That can really undo a narrative game, and I feel like generally Telltale get it right on that front. They pick people that are right for the roles, and definitely the appearances that are made. Everyone from the voice acting part of it has done a great job. Excellent.
Brilliant. So before we close this up with your thoughts, is there anything else you wanted to add that we haven't covered yet?
I think like I said, it is the standard kind of Telltale fare. I liked it. It's still got the smoke and mirrors that I feel like Telltale do and suffer from. Yeah. I was hoping to push for a very certain outcome, but I didn't have the flexibility to do that. It kind of reined me back in a little bit from going down that path. But it was still interesting to go through the journey of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Perhaps the conflicts they both have, and whether you can balance being both of them and getting the job done. It's the standard Telltale fare, but it's still a problem that I'm interested in, and with the addition of new kind of results from your decisions, I'm interested to see where they take that in future games. Yeah, that is a question for you. I'm gonna lay it on you. Yeah. If they announced let's say they get
Walking Dead final season done, standard formula.
Yeah.
Then they almost do like a soft reboot of a franchise, but they're going in a different direction. Would you miss the old way of Telltale if they started implementing more? They made like a sort of not normal, more sort of gameplay, like a sort of action adventure game, but with their sort of spin on it. Would you miss the old way, or is that something that it's been a bit saturated now? Is that something you would welcome?
I quite like the formula as it is.
Yeah.
But I can see why people get stale and fed up with it.
Yeah.
The real answer to that question sits with another little game called Vampire or Vampire that Don't Nod are doing. So Don't Nod developed Life is Strange. Very story-based, very good. Out Telltale on that front, is what I've said in previous ones. Their new game is focusing on the story. There's definitely really interesting things they're doing there.
Yep.
But they are introducing sort of real-time combat, action mechanics, things like that. And that, to me, I feel like is a recipe, if you don't have the right people doing it, to undo what could have been a very good game narratively. I think that'll be the test. Although it's a completely different firm, different, the stupid thing to say, really.
No.
I feel like that's kind of like an acid test for an area that's primarily known for, doing a very good narrative story, then stepping outside of into the action realm. And I know that they done Remember Me as well, Don't Nod, which had a bit more action in it, but I don't think...
And no one ironically remembers.
No, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm up for... I think they've had reductions at Telltale as well. They reduced the staff by, I think, 20 or 25 or 30% last year. So I think they're getting to the stage where they realise that it's time to sort of tone it back a bit, maybe do a handful of releases a year, focus on making them really good. And they're still their niche area. They're still the only ones churning out a few games a year of this ilk. And for my gaming, preferences is always a gap for that. I've always got time for these sort of things. Don't make it a 50-hour bloater.
No, I'm on you on that, definitely. Like you say, you'd be playing big games, and these are nice to slot in and have a little breakaway. Almost like a chaser game, we'd call them, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Like when I had my Subway a foot long, I could have done with a 6-inch chaser. This is the 6-inch chaser.
Excellent analogy. Brilliant. So there you have it. Now we're down to the final verdict. Badoom. I'm going to give you these questions. Will you bin it? Should you bin it? No, should you buy it? Sorry, or should you bin it?
Fucking buy it.
Fucking buy it. He's told you to get out there. And just a quick question before that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you advise anyone to play this without playing the first one? Would this be a standalone? Could you play it as a standalone or no?
Yeah, you can.
You can.
I feel like you can.
Yeah.
You'll lose 20% of the experience, maybe 30%. But I think because people are so familiar with Batman, as a character and the villains and whatnot, you'll recognise things. And I think even you can create your own saves, not saves, but you can create your own decision trees.
Right.
Import them if you can't get your save done. So you could kind of work it that way, but just play the first one.
Just play the first one.
As long as it runs,
sure.
don't fucking crash everything. Then play it. But if it starts crashing, bin it and just get a refund on Steam. But it is a follow-up season. Would you jump into a TV show at season 2? You might do. You could get up to speed if you wanted, but definitely lose the experience a little bit.
There you go. So he said buy it to everyone. You can, but he wouldn't advise it. Mm-hmm. And what he would advise is this grade he is now going to give. Drum roll, please.
Batman, the Enemy Within, grabs itself a silver.
Ooh, so a silver for Series 2. Can you remember what I gave Series 1?
I think you gave it a bronze. I think some of the issues that we had. So, I think that they were addressed in this case.
Brilliant. That's what we want to see in a sequel.
Yeah, so they got the performance issues, for me anyway, working. Yeah. And the story was good. I liked the sort of the things they did with it and some of the conundrums they gave you. Introduced this kind of new character impact assessment at the end, and it's a must purchase for Batman fans. It's got a lot of interesting moments. You can put your stamp on Bruce Wayne and Batman. Takes the franchise in places I didn't really expect and that I don't think are often explored. But again, standard Telltale affair. And if you're a fan of those games, and this is, has a strong enough narrative to warrant a purchase.
Boom. Done. There you go. That's locked in then. Old Enemy Within gets itself a silver.
When are you going to bloody get it?
Well, that is true. Again, I've got fucking games coming out my bum over here. Got Yakuza 6 sitting, God of War sniffing, fucking... What else am I playing?
Chaser, innit?
Chaser, yeah. Is a Chaser you could slot in to get it done in one session. Yeah. Well, I think the trouble is now with these Telltale games, it'd probably be on bloody PS Plus or Xbox Gold in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That is the concern you got with these bad boys, but it will get played, assure in me. Know that word? No, don't even know. Fucking kill it. So yeah, get us on the Twitters, get us on the YouTubes, get us on the Twitch, give us them subs, give it. Nothing more to say from us except ta-da. And thanks for your time. Blown it.
It's chaos, Bruce. It appears that he blames you for what he has become.
John Doe is dead. There's only Joker now.
How are you supposed to deal with a threat this big without allies?
Everyone's very impressed with you.
It's time to get things moving again.